Morning folks. Well, this is one of our usual problems. A house that's actually failed a survey with damp problems, and we've got a quote for about 3 or 4,000 quid or something in damp proofing in here, so we've got to find out why we need damp proofing. So here's what we're doing. I've got kitchen out here, and then we go from the kitchen into dining room with a chimney, you'll notice, and there's a very large chimney down there, and wooden floor, lovely old timber floor, and into a front room out there with a bay window. Now all the way around these walls we've got lots of little prong marks from Wally damp man telling us that we've got rising damp. There's prong marks in every single piece of wall there. Just to fill you in on the numbers, because it's important, this is something, there we go. We've got relative humidity in the kitchen, 56%, about 17 degrees with a dew point of 8.7. Dining room, which is where we are now, this room, relative humidity 60, 17.5, dew point 9. The front room out there, the humidity 65, 17 and 10 dew point. Subfloor under the dining room, we poked a hole in, 92% humidity, 16.3 temperature, dew point of 15. So that dew point is interesting because that's a calculated point, and it tells us if the building fabric is below 15 degrees, we're going to get condensation. Now we've got loads of mould and mildew in these cupboards. They're not very well ventilated, as you can see, and I've got in front of me now the thermocouple. There you go, it's showing 16 degrees, which is about the air temperature in here. And if I come in under the subfloor and shove it into the subfloor, I think you can see there, hang on, let me get it, see, it's, the temperature down here is 13.4. So we've got this lovely Edwardian blue brick damp course that's sopping wet, and it's nothing to do with rising damp. What we've got is active condensation. We've got moisture from under the floor condensing on the brickwork and causing dampness and moisture in this whole area. So again, no rising damp, we've got moisture and condensation, and we're just opening up. We've got a hole in here into the chimney, and we've just allowed air to circulate into the chimney for the first time in a long time, and we've actually got an air blast going up the chimney now. So we will dry this out, we will solve this problem, we will find out where the subfloor vents are. I think the biggest problem in this place at the moment is there's no circulation under the floor. So as soon as we find that, problem solved. Now, following on from the damp internal floor, this is what we find outside. Now we've got a beautiful Edwardian blue brick damp course, but one of the problems is these are too small, and the little holes are blocked up with spiders' webs, so there's no air circulating. And if you look down here, we got high ground level, and this is completely covered with concrete, with water just going down behind it, so it's almost inevitably going to get damp problems. Down the side here, one there blocked, another one there blocked again, and then the chimney that we were looking at, there's another one blocked again. This you can see from the salts is a chimney stack, and where we could see inside we had a problem, that problem is right here. And guess what they've done? Somebody has built up a concrete plinth here, and right where we've got the damp problems, we've got a drain and another drain. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that there's probably another vent in here somewhere completely blocked up, and therefore there's no airflow. So what we're now going to do is dig this concrete up and try and find out if there was a vent, open the thing up and get some airflow going under the floors. So hopefully that will solve the problem. And those are our findings basically in the first 10 minutes of doing the survey. So if you have a look down there, you can see what the issues are. You can see that big built up concrete plinth in the middle. So we're going to dig that up and I'll carry on inside. And this is just a little postscript from that front room, which is above some of the blocked air vents. And I've got the thermal imaging camera here, and you can see on the imaging camera that there is a, let's see if we can get closer, there we go, a little hole above the floorboards, and cold damp air from under the floor is getting into the room at that spot under the floorboards. And there you go. And if you look around here in the corner, this is the inside of the bay window, and you can see very clearly here there's a triangle which starts where the crosshairs are, and then it goes down the wall down there, and you can see the, might be able to see the laser pointer on there, it's not very clear, but that triangle is a temperature triangle. And if you look down there in the middle, you can see again cold damp air coming up from under the floor, and that is what is supplying the humidity into this room. So we've got that damp cold air getting into the room and then settling on the wall here, and that's why we've got that triangle of cold air in that triangle in the corner there. It's, sorry, not cold air, it's cold building fabric. So up here where the pointer is, you'll see it's 14.5 degrees, so the wall's quite warm, it's 14 degrees. Down there in the bottom where the pointer is now, it's 12. So it's actually a 2-degree difference in this wall from down in the bottom of the corner and up under the sill. 2 degrees, and that's enough for condensation to form. So there we go. We're now presently digging out the subfloor, trying to get some ventilation down here, and that will cure this problem. Damp will go away. So there you go. And here we have well, triumphant client. We've just dug a hole down here, and although I was actually looking for an air vent right where we got the problem internally, there's a huge crack in the pipe. So all the stormwater that's been coming down here over the years is just leaking out under the floor in exactly the place where we got a problem. So I think we found the reason why the house is damp. Cool. Oh well, there you go. And what I'm also looking at here is Wally Damp Man and what he's proposed in this house, and this is a plan of what he wants to do. So what have we got? We're going to put an injected damp proof course, and we're going to render both front rooms and the room we're in at the moment, the dining room. Bearing in mind the one bit that he hasn't said that he's going to do anything is right here where we found externally in this area a broken drain and the worst damp problems right in this area here. Now what we're doing at the moment, we're taking carbide samples, and we've done one here, and we're doing another one here, and so that one went 0.5%, and this one is in the pot at the moment. it's not going anywhere. There's the sample. I think you can see it's dry powder. There is absolutely no moisture in these samples. And that is the carbide. It's not even getting off the stop. So all these walls, that's our first carbide sample in there, which went 2%. Down there went 0.5%, and down there went 0. And if I just show you here, this is Wally Dampman's damp meter, and you can see, if you look carefully, you can see that multiple pinpricks of many surveyors and Wallies all picking up damp. And when you actually look at it and you take a sample, it's bone dry, and if you look behind, that is brand spanking clean lime plaster. There is nothing wrong with any of these walls, they are perfect. And that is showing salts, and nothing more than salts, a bit of residue from wallpaper glue, things like that, just in the wall, a little tiny bit of condensation. This wallpaper isn't even loose. There is nothing going on here at all. There's no damp, and yet this this whole house downstairs, all of this was going to be ripped off and tanking plaster applied. You know what? It's fraud, pure and simple fraud. And this man's going to trading standards. He's going to get done. This is just unacceptable. So there we go. And just back to the plan again. This front room here, I'm going to show you the damp Wally. This is all apparently damp here. Now I'm going to go in the room and I'm going to show you, I've done a carbide sample right in this corner, and this actually is the carbide. You can see it is bone dry, and it's dusty, it's powder. Now if we just come in here and quickly have a look where I've done this, we've got again lime plaster on the wall, bone dry. If we get the trusty salt meter, it's reacting a little bit, which is why I've done a sample there. And why is it reacting? Because it's next to a fireplace. If we go around the other walls that Wally is telling us need to be damp proofed, bearing in mind this is a salt meter, not a damp meter anyway, even this is green everywhere. So the diagnosis of damp in these walls is fraudulent. Total fraud. This room actually measures, in terms of humidity, it measures at about 59%, which, although it's only a snapshot in time, is extremely low, and it's the driest room in the house, and that's reflected in these walls. They're perfect, there's nothing wrong with them. So here we have a very typical example of somebody trying to defraud the homeowner and tell them that it's a damp room and it needs tanking and injecting, when it doesn't. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this room at all. There's nothing wrong with the house. It's dry as a bone. Yeah, even the dog says.